You notice that this is beans and bytes with a Y, but this is beans and bytes with an I.
Someone did a typo is what that means. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I ordered a latte because I've already had a lot of coffee today and thought a real coffee would push me over with the caffeine.
I ordered black coffee.
How interesting.
That's all I like.
And I ordered a latte because I like a little coffee in my milk. Well, thanks for joining me this morning for coffee on the patio of Malachowsky Hall. And now you have foolishly agreed to be the co-chairs of the Blue Sky AI Task Force. And so I'm wondering if you would talk a little bit about it. What do you think the task force is? What do you hope to do?
One of the things that really excited, I think, both Jane and I about the task force was that it's the idea of coming up with new innovations without boundaries. So, Blue Sky really means thinking broad and thinking big. So I think we're very excited about the idea of thinking, where could AI go? What are the things that we could do that we haven't even thought of yet that will be in our future?
When we did the last task force and did the QEP, obviously there was a set group of people and a lot of them were leaders. All the different colleges were represented. And I think this one will be fun because we've got some of the just crazy big thinkers on this task force. And I think we're looking forward to them as kind of a brain trust.
So just to lay the foundation a little bit for the people who are listening, the task force is really designed to look 5 or 10 years ahead on the University of Florida campus and ask, what's the AI environment we'd like to build here for the faculty and the students and the staff? And that's a little difficult, isn't it? Because no one really knows where AI is going at this point.
I mean, for sure. I think if you went back 5 years, no one would think where like ChatGPT is right now, right? I don't think that was in most people's brainwaves. But I think that's what makes it fun. So as Katie mentioned, right, the QEP was building a program based on what we have and building new programs around it. So it was much more constrained and kind of obvious what you would come up with. You'd have certificates, you'd have degrees, you'd have classes, right? This is fun because it's just out there crazy, right? What ideas do these people have for things, or that we have, that I think makes it a lot more fun to manage, and I think it makes it a lot more fun to be part of.
And I think too, Jane and I have talked a lot about hitting different audiences, because a lot of the QEP was more internal to UF, and we really want to look at what are kids thinking about, what are high schoolers thinking about, what are our industry partners thinking about, so that we're including a broader set of ideas into the Blue Sky vision.
So we're actually really excited for this one. Yeah. And we only said yes because we both did it. We said we wouldn't do it separately, we'll do it together.
Well, that's good. No, I think it's a really remarkable opportunity, and as far as I know, we're the only ones doing this. I mean, to sit and think about what does the next 5 or 10 years look like, and then to actually, with the capabilities that we have here with HyperGator, the faculty and the students all being very engaged in AI, I think we actually have a chance of pulling this off. So let me ask just the two of you now. You must have your own personal ideas, the wild, crazy ideas that you're talking about on where AI might go.
So I have a child who is a senior at FSU. Probably going to edit that out.
They'll just put a big X across you at that.
Sorry to mention that one. For us, I think one of the practical applications that AI could do is if you want to get on to kind of talk with an advisor, if a student wants guidance, if a student's just like, what are my options in area XYZ? I mean, we've got so many, 35,000 students here, all wanting academic advising. How about if you had your own personal advisor? How about if you could tailor it to exactly what you were interested, that could change as you change throughout your undergraduate experience? It could open internships for you. It could mention certificate programs. It could mention crazy ideas of courses that you might be interested in based on what you've told it you like. But it also knows what your academic requirements are. That would be pretty cool, and they could have their own personal program.
But a lot of times students, their experiences with one advisor, one college, that may not know all the different pathways. So it really does bring more knowledge to that student about all the opportunities that you have, including extracurricular activities. are there certain ones that really align with your interests you may not hear about because it's in a different college? One of the things I hear a lot from students is, I wish I had known this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is that opportunity to get that information to them sooner.
I think there's something like over 1,000 clubs and activities at the University of Florida. So when you show up as a freshman, how do you find these things?
So people are like, well, I don't use AI. I have no interest in AI. And we're like, are you
Yes,
ever
you
on?
are.
Like, are you ever on Facebook? And you've been looking for that red jacket. And you've mentioned that, and suddenly red jackets are everywhere in your feed. And they're like, yeah, isn't it strange? And we're like, no, it's not. It's AI. It listens.
But on the side of capturing where students may start having problems, so that we could target them and help them, I think AI could definitely do that.
Yeah.
So, when you look at a student who you start seeing maybe a certain subject area or where there's some deficiencies, but they need that for the next course, right? It's building. You can capture those things and provide them with materials that help them build that skill so that they don't fall further behind. And I think that is a great thing that AI can do.
We are doing a disservice to our students if our students do not leave UF completely aware of what AI is. Even if they choose not to use it, that's fine.
Yes.
But you need to be really aware that it is everywhere in everything you do and all the tools you use.
So we originally had this notion of sort of 3 levels of AI expertise: AI literacy, AI competence, and AI expert. Does that still make sense, or is your thinking refining along different lines?
I would say it's refining just because it's becoming so commonplace. Right? Everyone is going to have some understanding of AI, even if they're not in the classroom learning AI, because it's all around us.
I think AI, I think that literacy component is just the bait. That's assumed. Right? I think that's what UF will give everyone. If that's all we did as a university, that would be massive. Because we teach that, you will by default get those layers above it where people are like, oh my goodness, that's cool, that's scary, that's horrifying, that's amazing, whatever it may be, that then takes them down that path to really expand. So I think that will happen in of itself as we just get basically an entire campus and faculty, staff, students, everyone AI literate.
Well, and I think they'll be competent.
We hope so.
Well,
I don't assume, Katie.
I would think, well, more so than maybe at another institution. How's that?
But I think it's also fair for someone to not want to do AI, right? We're not saying everyone has to do it. We're saying you have the opportunity, but I do think everyone should be literate to understand that, like, people are like, oh, we need to put ChatGPT back in the box. And it's like,
no,
that's irrelevant. It's one little teeny tiny piece of AI that obviously has made a big splash, but it's already ubiquitous. It's already everywhere. So there's no putting any of this back in the box. You need to understand how to use it and how to use it well, how to use it appropriately, and how to actually assign, okay, I'm using these tools and techniques, and this is how I've used them, and this is why I've used them, and it's completely appropriate for me to have done so. What is important with all of those tools, and I think it's really, really important that we keep using the word tool, because it is you need to have the expertise and the knowledge to use it appropriately, to use it well, and to train others to use it. And that's ultimately what a university does, no matter what the topic is. And I think also having people engage in these tools and techniques in things like a collaboratory or a new and innovative way where they're linking with industry, they're getting real world skills. Kind of we can use this AI concept and kind of development as a way to enhance how we teach. So not every class will be like that, but we'll certainly have these new engaged platforms that we can have with students that'll be great and that link with industry and link with internships and jobs.
But I do think there will be a little change in what we expect students to learn, what skills we expect them to master. We've seen that with the introduction of scientific calculators and PCs. Probably all of us have seen a basic examination for a normal school teacher around the year 1900. I couldn't pass it. None of us could pass it because they expected different things. They expected you to know different things and have slightly different skills. And I think that will also evolve, is my guess.
I think so. I mean, even with programming, you see less need to know how to program, right? So I think you're definitely on board with that. So.
Yeah. I mean, ChatGPT ChatGPT can do coding now, right?
Right.
So 20 years ago, we all thought it was important to teach sixth graders how to code because that was going to be the career of the future. Now that career is disappearing.
But you do have to be able to troubleshoot.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you have to
Yes.
have that level of knowledge to be able to
Right.
troubleshoot when ChatGPT does not give you code.
And I think the
that's
same
good.
thing is true of editing. You don't have to write a first draft of a paper or a letter anymore, but you better be a damn good editor.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's
That's
very true.
Yeah.
But I think it's exciting. I mean, I think it will, as you say, it'll streamline some processes that perhaps don't need our brainwaves in the same way it used to, because it's somewhat banal and
Right.
basic now.
Yeah.
And let's instead pivot and use our energy on high-level thinking and more engagement. And I think it gives us that opportunity. And that's really exciting. It is.
Happy? Okay.
You guys are terrific.
Thanks.
Really, really lively.
And the sad thing is, you know, this is all going to be edited down to 2 minutes.
Yeah.